shoot it might be.
Hey, everybody. It's your girl, PJamma, with PJamma Life. And today we have a really good roundup of TV shows and movies. We're going to be reviewing Moon Knight, the third episode, Severance on Apple TV Plus, and the Disney Pixar film Turning Red. About my favorite animal of all time, the red panda. So why don't we have the fellas say hey to the people? David, say hey to everybody.
Hello, everybody. Great to be with you tonight. Throughout the telecast, I will be sharing with you a bit of philosophy that I've just been learning the Ferengi rules of acquisition. I'm going to throw that in as
Yeah.
appropriate. Number 109, we'll begin with dignity and an empty sack is worth the empty sack. And those are words to live by tonight, baby.
Yeah, well, that wasn't bad. Patrick, our guru of all things Marvel, say hey to the people.
Hey everybody, glad to be here. Got some good stuff to talk about tonight.
We sure do. And so, why don't we get started with the third episode? We're halfway through at this point of Moon Knight.
Last time I spoke to the gods, they banished me.
Oh, what are we dancing? We fighting? What are we gonna do? Steven, what did you do? I swear it wasn't me. I didn't do any of this.
What are you doing?
Sending the gods a signal they can't ignore.
You're getting desperate, old bird.
Patrick, why don't you catch us up on your thoughts on Moon Knight?
There's some really good bits in this that I really enjoyed. First off, F. Murray Abraham is the voice of Khonshu.
Yes.
Spot on. I got to tell you,
Yeah.
spot on.
Yeah.
What a great bit of gravitas it adds to the god of the moon from Egyptian mythology. It was interesting to see some of the things they kind of hinted at. The avatars of the other gods showing up for the council of the gods, and everybody just kind of dudes just showing up and getting taken over by their deity, as it were. Really interesting. There was some great imagery, really cool imagery, like when the Moon Knight when he jumped off and he was in the ceremonial armor, and you got to see the signature cloak shape come out with the big curves on it. It was very. It was definitely a signal to those of us who have read the books. I haven't read all of them. Kind of, it's one of those hit and miss things for me. I'm aware of him. I wasn't into the mythology as much, but you also saw something that was really important, which was the introduction of a third personality, but you don't know who it is or where they're at. But the two of them talking to each other, was that me? And no, that wasn't me. I thought that was you. No, that wasn't me. So there's a third personality which we haven't seen yet, which from my memory of the books, that it was a cab driver, and I can't remember his name. There's another
Jake
personality in
something?
there.
Was it Jake something?
I can't remember. I'll tell you, I really can't remember. But I do remember he was a cab driver, and there's a lot going on here. So it's going to be, there's still a lot to unpack. And I can't get over the fact they're halfway through this, and I'm still trying to figure out where we're going, which is great because this was just about like WandaVision, when we watched WandaVision, we didn't know where this show was going for the first 3 episodes. Each episode was cool, and this one, excuse me, this one was pretty cool too. Like that same way, you don't know where they're going. You've got this archaeologist, you've got this mercenary, you've got this X Factor. They're all trying to follow the rule, the things that Khonshu's telling them, kind of to a point. A lot of conflict. Really good stuff, though. I super enjoyed it.
Okay. David, what'd you think?
Well, as I was thinking about my blue moon over Kentucky and felt a bad moon rising,
Oh Lord, here
I,
we go.
it's coming.
There we go.
And I'm thinking about a moon over Miami because I'd love to have a vacation since I'm working all the weekends. I can't get into this show. I can't get into this show. What is going on? I don't know if is it me? Is it a post-tournament blasé? I cannot embrace this show at all. I like the fight on the top of the building. That was kind of cool. Don't lick your knife because that puts you in a position to get pop pop. But I can't get into the show. I will Wednesday. I'm going to watch all 4 episodes. Theoretically, I should have more time in my life on Wednesday with all the work. I'm going to watch them all and I'm going to see if they make sense. Because man, it's a struggle for me right now.
Mm-hmm.
WandaVision, the comparison. All right, that was a little maybe because I'm so used to sitcom TV. It was my best friend as a child in some respect.
Right.
I'm struggling. We will see though. I'm going to do a marathon. I'm going to Netflix this puppy, all 4 episodes Wednesday, just to see if I can get into the groove.
Yeah, this one was better than some of the other ones, I feel like. And I thought it was a nice nod to Harrison Ford and Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, there's a Raiders feel
guy,
to it.
he just shot him, and because I was like, who licks a knife? So you want to also giving them infection while you was stabbing them? And so that was pretty cool. And I think there were other, like when you see Arthur Harrow at the desert and he tells him keep digging, that was also kind of a nod to a scene in Raiders as well. So you get that kind of Raiders of the Lost Ark stuff going on. The villain, what was it? What was his name? Arturo something. He's the Midnight Man or something in the comics or something. The one they were getting the sarcophagus from. The actor Gaspard Ulliel, I think that's his name. He just recently passed away at 39. So that's why you see in a skiing accident. I mean, this guy was lauded French actor. And so that was a real shame to see that this young man, I guess I could say young man, has passed on tragically at such a young age and such a bright career. So, but I think that this episode, so now they're introducing another personality into the mix, and the kind of in and out kind of thing is starting to get on my nerves a little. But I think what this suffers from is I feel like with this episode, the episode so far, we're kind of jumped into the middle of the story without understanding the background of Khonshu and Arthur Harrow's kind of relationship, Stephen and Mark and Layla's relationship. It's just some key, like the backstory of the gods they're covering in this, so that you have kind of an understanding of the Egyptian mythology before this. So I feel like it's like, oh, okay. Whereas WandaVision, I felt like it was a beginning, middle, and end. In this one, it kind of feels like a Pulp Fiction, where you're at the middle, then you're at the end, and then you're somewhere in the beginning, and then you're all over the place, and it kind of feels like, where's the beginning?
Like mental illness
of it, and I don't like that.
Comparing it to Pulp Fiction is one of the best movies ever. So it's selling
it for me. It's not that good though. This one you can't see the narrative thread. In Pulp Fiction, you can see the narrative thread of it. But this one is missing those two elements to me that would kind of tie it together so that you really understood what was happening. I'm still missing that episode, and they need to get to it at some point with the quickness. So, but it was much more interesting this week. And the fight scenes were really good. Yeah. I'm just waiting on that expository episode, if that's the right word to use. And normally you like, they keep explaining too much. But now in this one, since you're not familiar with the characters and not familiar, a lot of us aren't familiar with Egyptian mythology, you need that kind of storytelling in the midst of this so that you can understand. So hopefully we'll see that. If not, I'm gonna keep being like, come on.
I have absolute faith in the. I mean, so far, Marvel hasn't had a lot of missteps. I mean, really, you think about it. Everything they've done, everybody thought Guardians of the Galaxy was going to be terrible, and it's
Dark
one.
World was a horrible misstep.
Okay, so
And
what?
Captain
What we're looking at
Marvel,
one
the
out
Thor
of how many?
movies.
Sure,
Yeah.
not a lot of
I mean, you
missteps.
can't say there haven't been any missteps. The
No, and
whole
even their missteps weren't that.
the whole
They weren't
it's a
terrible.
rare misstep.
And they're
It's a
usually
rare,
not that big of a misstep. They're just maybe not.
right.
They're not all. They're
Well, they
not
gotta
all
get
grand
to it
slam
though.
homers. They're not all grand slam
Yeah.
homers.
Yeah, they got to get to it though. I mean, they just got to get to it so people can understand and get invested in the characters. David's already kind of checked out. I'm hanging on by a slim thread.
I'm there. I'm there for you, Marvel. I got
You're
your
not
back.
the only ones. I could have, egg on my face at the end, which is really good for it. But, get to it. Get to it, Marvel. Get to it. Okay. So, but while I was there, I also really found out a new drink, Coca-Cola Starlight, for when you're watching the cosmos turn back time. This is really good. Nobody's paying me for this endorsement, but take a drink of it. You find it at Aldi's or anywhere. It's yummy. Okay. Anywho, let's take a look next at Disney Pixar's new film about a girl and a red panda in Turning Red.
But this is grade 8. I don't got time to mess around. Like most adults, I have responsibilities. Hey, Bart. Hey, Lisa. I'm gonna kill him! Leave her alone! Tell him you forgot your pals!
Your mom must have gone nuclear.
Who cares? What's she gonna do? Ground me?
Pat, you're the parent in the group. What did you think of Turning Red?
Okay,
And you're a girl dad, so
I have a girl, yes, and I've even read Queen Bees and Wannabes, so I'm all versed in this. You know, I love Pixar movies, and that's maybe part of the problem is because being compared to other Pixar movies, it had a very Wallace and Gromit animated style to it.
Yes,
I
that's
felt
what we were saying too.
I felt it was very Wallace and Gromit, but I just didn't connect with the characters as much as I did like in Coco or you know Inside Out and all the other ones. It didn't seem to grab me as much as some of the other ones. I mean, it was decent, and I don't see what everybody's got their panties all in a bunch about, because oh my God, teenage girls idolize boys. I had never heard that. Oh my God, yeah, everybody says the Beatles. I mean,
and maybe
idiots.
teenage boys.
Oh, whoa, that never happens. Come on now. And,
Yeah, that never happens.
Anyway, but I'm just like, I don't understand the outrage about. I mean, it was solid. I mean, it wasn't spectacular. It was by no stretch their best picture. I enjoyed it. There were some good bits in it, some cute things, but overall, it just didn't really blow my skirt up, as it were. I mean, it was okay.
Blow your skirt up. You don't want that as a teenage girl during puberty. That's one of the worst things that could happen. David, what do you think?
Well, I think I will begin by quoting the 239th rule of
Oh.
acquisition, which states, "Never be afraid to mislabel a product." Uh, I didn't say necessarily there'd be a real connection here. I loved
Yeah.
I loved the animation. I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not a parent, except of a puppy who is tearing my home alive. So I think I have his red panda everywhere. Uh, I certainly don't see this as a subversive or threatening film. I'm very concerned when people do, they kind of put that out there. But it was okay. I think if there was less of that criticism in the fanfare, dude, there wouldn't have been any fanfare for this at all. It might have been the best
Hmm.
publicity it got. It was okay. Not a big fan of it, but I'm not a teenage girl. I don't have a teenage daughter. And Chris
Mhm.
Hansen's not walking through that door, so I don't talk to teenage
Yeah.
girls. I just go
Whoa,
home.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
So,
So I was a teenage girl.
You have us all beating that.
Man, it was so what I think one of the greatest and best things about this is showing a really healthy, positive relationship between her girlfriends, all
hmm,
the girls. I thought that was just beautiful part of the movie. I don't know how realistic it is to have three other girls at that age be super supportive like that. That's just at 13, that's pretty hard to come by.
it is a
But
fiction. It is a work of fiction,
it
right?
is a work of fiction, boy. I mean, all of us would have wanted three girlfriends who had our backs no matter what. But um I thought it was a nice metaphor too for puberty and everything that happens to girls during this time and relationships between girls and mothers at this time. It is very complicated and very fraught with tension that I thought they used effectively using the red panda. Um, and I think that some of it could come off as some stereotypes of Asian culture, but I think that was the point too, that May was trying so hard to please everybody that she wasn't able to, really express herself the way she wanted to. And I like the aunties too. The aunties rolling up. Like, yeah, we got this. Come on, little baby. We got you, boo. I thought that was lovely to see that much family support. And I thought that the resolution was something I didn't expect. So that was really nice to see that it actually did have something different than a typical kind of Disney kind of thing. And I thought that that kind of gave it a better kind of um better kind of rating for me about it. But I think it's definitely something I could see from the other side how some people in the culture might be offended by some of the messagings because it kind of was like a Western message as opposed to something I can't speak for the culture, but to me, it kind of struck me as very Western kind of view of teenagers as opposed to maybe something that's celebrated in Chinese culture. So, but I thought it was a lot of nice nods to Chinese culture. And so that's positive. And this is what the third or fourth kind of Asian themed story from Disney Pixar um, here in recent years. So I think that's really positive as well that they're doing stuff for one of the largest populations on the planet. So
Good for
I,
them or good for Disney?
both. I think it's both. Yeah,
Nothing wrong with pandering. I'm sure that's in a rule of acquisition that I'll get to.
pandaing.
Oh, how Billy O should of you, Pam.
So, but I love red pandas. So anytime I can see a red panda, that bumps up the rating that much more. They're so cute. I've seen them in real life. They're so cute. Okay. So definitely, I think it's for families. I think it's definitely kind of a preteen kind of flick. I don't think there's anything that's offensive or anything that you couldn't share with the whole family.
Yeah,
So
agreed.
you trying to eat Easter dinner tomorrow or whatever, then park the kids in the room and let them watch Turning Red and have fun. So definitely check out. It's kind of a mixed review, but I think everybody thinks it's harmless, and definitely you should check out Turning Red on Disney Plus. Okay, next, a surprising different story from Apple TV Plus, Severance, directed by Ben Stiller.
I have, of my own free accord, elected to undergo the procedure colloquially known as severance. I give consent for my perceptual chronologies to be surgically split, separating my memories between my work life and my personal life. I acknowledge that henceforth my access to my memories will be spatially dictated.
So delighted.
I will be unable to access outside recollections whilst on Lumen's severed basement floor, nor retain work memories upon my ascent.
Are you following me?
Yeah, I'm from work.
Well, that's not plausible. Everyone in my department is...
Severed. I was.
Okay, well, severance is pretty permanent.
Yeah, nothing down there is what they say.
Oh, I've been waiting to talk about this one. David, what did you think?
Well, to quote rule number 47, don't trust a man wearing a better suit than your own. Maybe that has something to do with this show. Wild show. Really neat thinking. A lot of the show, some of the shows that we've been watching, TV shows, Apple TV, different than, say, like the network shows, the sitcoms we've been watching that have had a bit of a formula. This is really wild and a fascinating premise as somebody who, just on the surface, before we get into the real depth here, separating business from person. Hard to do that for me, as I've spent the entire day working here. So, and my home is now my office. So those lines are really blurred.
Mm-hmm.
Good cast, really promising, spooky stuff. I'm loving this show.
Mm-hmm. Pat, what'd you think?
Okay, I got about 3 episodes into it. Had a lot of stuff to do around the house. Had a lot of stuff to do around the house. I'm sorry, spring's approaching. I got things to do outdoors.
I might have to spoil it for you, but go ahead.
I might have to leave then. I don't know. Okay, it is such a wonder. It's very bleak.
Yeah.
I'll tell you watching it. I don't know how I feel about it at this point. It's just it's so bleak, and it's so, it's God, what a fucking hell that would be to just exist at work. Oh my God, just kill me. And I'm at the point where the female in the office is always trying to leave, and because she hates it, and she's trying to sneak stuff, and I'm just like, I get it, man. I gotta leave work. This is the most un-Ben Stiller thing I've ever seen. I'm just gonna say that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well said.
See Christopher Walken in it. They got some star power kind of going there. Adam Scott, great to see him. I loved him in Parks and Rec, but this is the most un-Parks and Rec role he could have picked, short of a serial killer, a bloody serial killer. This is wow. It's kind of all over the place. I'm intrigued. I kind of want to watch the rest of it, but
keep watching.
Time constraints get me, and so I don't know. We'll see where we go. We go. It hasn't grabbed me terribly yet, but I'm just like, it's just kind of, man, it's just so bleak that it makes me almost not want to watch it, because I'm just like,
you gotta watch it.
Yeah, you gotta stick with it, man.
Yeah, you have to stick with it. Okay, I've been waiting to talk about this because I
Am
watched
I
it
gotta
like
point out this?
2
I
weeks.
gotta leave.
Huh?
Do I
Well,
gotta
no, la
leave?
la la. I'll
Put you
try
on mute.
not to spoil it.
Put you on
I'll
mute.
try. I'll try not to spoil it. But this show, Ben Stiller is an incredible director. I mean, this is so wonderfully weird and dark and prescient, where somebody might propose something like this in these times. I mean, I could just see somebody proposing some crap like this. And it is it's complicated, but in a good way, because you're trying to figure it out. And once you get to the last episode and things are revealed unexpectedly, it was like, wow, this is incredible. And Patricia Arquette, I mean, at first I did not even recognize her. I was like, who is this
Voice.
old lady? The voice kind of
The
sounds
voice.
familiar. And then she never like went for the Hollywood thing, so she has this kind of crooked tooth. And then I was like, is that Patricia Arquette? And I was like, oh my gosh, that's her. She is fantastic in this. I mean, the arcs of her character is just unhinged and weird and creepy and just scary, the mom in Carrie, that kind of flat affect and crazy but there's a reason why. And just the twistedness of the story too, because that's why I say, Pat, you have to stick with it, because episodes 4 through 6 are so pivotal, that it all makes sense, and why the first episodes are so weird. But I'm trying to do this without a spoiler, and I want to spoil it because I want to talk about that ending.
Oh,
And
go ahead. I don't care.
no, because there may be some people out there who also haven't seen it, so I don't want to spoil it for them. But I think there's some interesting directions they go to, but I think it's also how much control do you want to give someone else over your life, and things too. Grief makes you do powerful, sometimes awful things people do not to feel the crushing sadness that grief will give you. And that is an important component of the story as well. And I think for Ben Stiller too, he just lost his dad. Jerry Stiller just passed away recently.
That's
I think
right.
the mom passed away last year. I think they were both comedy legends, who'd been around. And so I think that also kind of permeates the series as well, that it's also a story about grief. And that's why I say definitely check it out. It's not as bleak as the first few episodes, but it definitely takes you on a wild journey the last few episodes. So I wish I could fully talk about it, but it's awesome. But yeah, it's awesome. Definitely for me. If you like twisty, weird, different kind of genres like me, and good storytelling too, and the production values. I mean, it's so simple, but they said that, I know I'm talking a lot about this, but I love it. But
It's your show.
All these, when you see the white hallways, I saw Adam Scott and Ben Stiller on Good Morning America talking about the show. And so what they did was build these hallways like a maze. And so with different scenes, they had to change, instead of building like rooms, they just would change the directions of the maze. And so Adam Scott once got confused and didn't remember where he was supposed to go because he had got lost in the set. And so that just shows you how weird and wacky, this is. So definitely if you like puzzles and mysteries and metaphors kind of storytelling, definitely check out Severance and sever yourself from work. But not like this.
Well, I also thought, just the idea of, not having, because some of the scenes I saw were about at the beginning when they're trying to explain to her that she's just, doesn't have any memories of everything. Reminded me of like Blade Runner, the replicants that they had to force memories into them so that they could act like normal humans about a childhood or whatever. They'd
Right.
make up their own mythologies about their childhood.
Right.
So it kind of had a little bit of a Philip Dick kind of vibe to it. It was very kind of not not post-apocalyptic,
Dystopian.
Yeah,
dystopian,
dystopian
very
and also
dystopian type of thing.
like Stepford Wives, where you're trying where you're trying to program people.
Yeah.
So definitely, yeah. The Severance world, I hope expands, and so maybe we'll see other divisions or other things happening. Why? Who started it, and why? And where's it gonna go? So definitely. And you see touches, I think it's cool, of Apple throughout the series too. If you look for it, you'll see
Just
like
the
touches
design
of
of the
Apple.
buildings and the rooms and everything looked very Apple Store-ish. There's the word I'm looking for, I guess.
Yeah, and the lettering. If you look at the lettering, it's Apple.
They're typed out. Come on, man.
Which I thought was kind of cool. And so before we head out, let's say hey to some of our viewers. Monica Thomas, hi.
Hey,
And Tim
welcome.
Windsor, our favorite guy.
Hey.
He came in, and Electric Melanin, she had say hey to us. And Tim Windsor, the pollen is getting to him. So we hope that you feel better and take some Claritin and
Yes.
wipe off your car and don't leave your windows open.
Shower regularly. That helps a lot with the pollen.
The bumblebees are out and spring is in the air, which means in this area, lots of pollen and new wood pollen or oak pollen that's devastating everybody this year. It's a mess. But it's beautiful. We had 80-degree weather out here and it was lovely. And now it'll be 40 something for Easter.
Yeah.
All those cute little Easter outfits. I hope they warm to take pictures with the Easter bunny.
I'm happy for the cold, I must say.
And so next week we are going to watch the streaming premiere of The Batman. That's coming out on HBO Max, as well as we'll continue to watch Moon Knight, and we will check out Death on the Nile, the Agatha Christie story with Gal Gadot, and is that Cannibal still on?
Kenneth Branagh.
The wannabe Cannibal dude.
Artie Hamer.
Artie Hammer. Oh yeah, there's a lot of people. This is super good.
Yeah, Kenneth Branagh. It's a second of the Agatha Christie stories classically told on film. So definitely check out next week. It's a really great batch of films and TV shows. And do we want to say anything about this week, fellas? Final words, final thoughts?
Well,
let's go to David. He got another gem for us.
Not a joke, but another Ferengi rule of acquisition. Listen with your ears. Keep your ears open and your minds open as you go forth. Look forward to you guys coming back next week where we're talking about some really, I think, fun and exciting movies next week. Bring your popcorn, must see webinar, whatever we call PJamma Life.
Yeah, our YouTube show. And Pat.
YouTube it with us.
Babe.
Well, I would also tell everybody just stick with stuff. You know, I mean, I'm gonna go keep pounding through Severance. Apparently, everybody says it's good. So, I mean, and Moon Knight, I have faith. I expect it's gonna be really good. Stick with it. Stick with everything.
And this year we have a special kind of religious celebration where Easter, Passover, and Ramadan all fall in the same time period. So that only happens very infrequently. So happy each of those to those of you who celebrate those holidays, and eat lots of candy and eat lots of eggs, hopefully without eggy effects. But have fun, love each other, and peace to all. So we'll see you next time on PJamma Live. Take care.
So long, everybody.